Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hello everyone. Myself Dr. Shobhanis from Government RC College, continuing on our amalgamation series video. I'm here to solve a problem on amalgamation in the nature of merger. In the previous video, we had understood the theory relating to merger. What are the two changes with respect to journal entries, especially closing entries in the books of transferee company if it is amalgamation in the nature of merger. So let's do a problem on amalgamation in the nature of merger. Now this is the problem. Now they have given equity share capital, preference share capital, general reserve, export profit reserve, income tax, investment allowance reserve, then your profit and loss account, 13% debentures, trade creditors, other liabilities. Now, this is outside liability, trade creditors outside liability, 13% debentures outside liability, profit and loss account insiders liability, investment allowance reserve is a statutory reserve, export profit reserve is a statutory reserve, general reserve is an insider's liability, preference share capital is an insider's liability, share capital is an insider's liability, and there are no fictitious assets in this problem. Now, there are these assets. XY is formed to take over X Limited and Y Limited for the following consideration. Now, these are the conditions given for calculating purchase consideration. Since the mode of payment is given in this problem, it is going to be net payments method. I have done the same problem with respect to amalgamation in the nature of purchase. You can refer the problem for calculating purchase consideration. So I thought, let everything be in one video only. So I will be calculating purchase consideration again. So we will be calculating purchase consideration, and the method of purchase consideration will be net payments method. Now if it is net payments method, both purchase and discharge will be in one step. Step 1 and step 2 will be combined. Calculation and discharge both will be there in the single step. The debentures are converted into equivalent number of debentures. Statutory reserves are to be maintained for 2 more years. You have to close. We will not talk about what is required. In exam, you please do whatever is required. Here I will be doing everything. I will be showing you closing entries in the books of X, closing entries in the books of Y, opening entries in the books of XY, and then balance sheet in the books of XY. So you have to close. Let us calculate. So let's calculate purchase consideration under net payments method. So let us do the first form. The first form is in the form of equity shares. Now they have given how many equity shares for X Limited. The number of equity shares given is, in the first point, 4,80,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So 4,80,000 into 10, that comes up to 48 lakhs. Now similarly for Y. For Y Limited, the number of shares, you have to look at the first point, is 3,50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So for Y, it will be 35 lakhs. So this is in the form of equity shares. Next, in the form of preference shares. In the form of preference shares. Now for X Limited. Now if you look at X Limited's old balance sheet, X Limited old balance sheet, preference shareholders have their share capital of 22 lakhs. So remember, preference shareholders have their share capital of 20 lakhs. If it is issued at premium of 10%, you add 2.20 lakhs. So you get 24 lakhs 20,000 for X Limited. So for X Limited in the form of preference shares, the preference share capital will be, see, 15% preference shares of rupees 100 each to discharge preference shareholders of X Limited, which are 22 lakhs at a premium of 10%. So 22 lakhs plus 10% premium you add, you get 24 lakhs 20,000. This is for X Limited. Similarly, for Y Limited. For Y Limited, if you look at their balance sheet, old balance sheet of Y Limited, preference share capital is rupees 17 lakhs. So if you add 10% premium, 1.7, you get 18 lakhs 70,000. So their capital in balance sheet is 17 lakhs plus 10% you add, you get 18 lakhs 70,000. So if you add the purchase consideration 48 lakhs plus 24 lakhs 20,000, you get a purchase consideration of 72 lakhs 20,000 to X Limited and 53 lakhs 70,000 to Y Limited. This is the total purchase consideration given to X Limited and to Y Limited in the form of equity shares and preference shares. See, you know the total over here and you know in what form in equity shares and preference shares was given. So that is why step 1 and step 2 is combined in case of net payments method. Now let's move on to closing entries in the books of X. If we have to do closing entries in the books of X, and remember we are doing amalgamation in the nature of merger. We are doing merger method. So two entries are different except that all the other entries will remain same. So the first entry is to transfer all the assets to realization account on the debit side. So the entry is realization account debit to all the assets account. So what we do? We take all the assets account. Journal entry will be realization account debit to, one by one you will be taking all the assets. Land and buildings 25 lakhs to land and buildings 25 lakhs to plant and machinery 32 lakhs 50,000 to furniture and fixtures account 5 lakhs 75,000, then to investments account, investment is 7 lakhs, then to stock account, amount is 12 lakhs 50,000, then to debtors account, amount is 9 lakhs, then to bank account, amount is 7 lakhs 25,000. If you total all these things, you will get 99 lakhs. So being all assets transferred to realization account on the debit side. Now the second entry will change with respect to merger and purchase. Please note that actually you are not supposed to transfer reserve everything to realization account. The point is simple. You don't realize the reserves. It directly goes to equity shareholders account. But to make a proper distinction between amalgamation in the nature of merger and purchase, we explained to the students, few books have suggested that also, that you transfer all the liabilities except share capital to realization account and find out the profit or loss and transfer it to equity shareholders account. But actually, even if you transfer the reserves and surplus to holders account, the effect will be the same. The way of showing the accounts in different accounts is different. But here I will be showing you to make a distinction between merger and purchase. I will be transferring all the liabilities except share capital to realization account on the credit side. So the entry will be all the liabilities irrespective of whether it is inside liability or outside liability. I will be transferring it to realization account on the credit side. So the entry will be, let us leave equity share capital and preference share capital. Leaving these two, we will pass all the outside liabilities. So the outside liabilities, we will pass all the liabilities. So we will start with general reserve. So the entry will be general reserve account debit. General reserve amount is 5 lakhs. Then export profit reserve account debit. Amount is 3 lakh. Then investment allowance reserve is not there for this company, so we will not take. Then reserve account debit. Amount is it is profit and loss account. Profit and loss account debit 7,50,000. Then 13% debentures account debit. Amount is 5 lakhs. Then trade creditors account debit. Amount is 4,50,000. Then other current liabilities account debit. Amount is 2 lakhs. So then there is no space. I will just adjust. I hope you can understand. To realization account. To realization account. So you will total all these outside liabilities and write the amount in the credit column. So 5 plus 3, 8, 7, 15, 15, 5, 20 lakh, 50, 20, 21, 25, 27. So the amount is 27 lakhs in the credit column. So all these liabilities account debit to realization account 27 lakh. This will be the second entry for transferring all the liabilities excluding equity share capital and preference share capital. The next entry will be for purchase consideration due. So for purchase consideration due, the entry will be, who is giving the purchase consideration? XY company account debit to realization account. So how much is the purchase consideration of X Limited? 72 lakhs 20,000. So 72 lakhs 20,000 purchase consideration due. So this is the entry for PC due. The next entry will be for PC received in the form of equity shares and preference shares. It will be there in purchase consideration. So the entry will be equity shares in X Limited account debit. How many equity shares have been given? 48 lakhs. Then preference shares in X Limited account debit. How many preference shares was given? 24 lakhs 20,000 to who gave? XY Limited. XY Limited account total 72 lakhs 20,000. So being PC received. So once you receive the PC, the next entry is realization expense. In this problem, realization expense is not there. So we move on to close the preference share capital. In this problem, preference share capital is due at premium. I have already explained all these journal entries in my theory part. If you have any doubts, kindly watch the video on amalgamation in the nature of merger theory. So if it is due at premium, the entry will be preference share capital account debit. How much preference share capital is due for X company? 22 lakhs. 22 lakhs. And remember, premium will be transferred to realization account. So the entry will be realization account debit with the amount of premium. And premium amount is 2 lakhs 20,000. 2. Who will take their capital? Preference share holders will take their capital to 24 lakhs 20,000. So this is the entry for preference share capital due. So once you pass an entry for preference share capital due, the next entry is to transfer equity share capital to equity share holders account. Before that, we will close the realization account and find out profit or loss on realization. So when you debit all the total of the debits and the total of credits which you credited to realization account, you will get a profit of 2 lakhs. You will get a profit of 2 lakhs. Sorry, you will get a loss of 2 lakhs. So that loss will be transferred to equity share holders account. So the loss of 2 lakhs will be transferred to equity share holders account. So the entry will be equity share holders account. I'll show you an image which has all the journal entries together. There you can just see how did we get this loss. So equity shareholders account debit 2 lakhs to realization account. To realization account. So this is loss on realization. So you will be doing, you just got a loss on realization of 2 lakhs. The next entry will be for transferring all the insiders funds, that is equity share capital. Since this is merger, we've already transferred reserve and all surplus to realization account. From there it will go to the new company. So here we transfer only equity share capital and then the loss. So the entry will be equity share capital account debit to equity share holders account. So how much is their capital? Their capital is 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs, 50 lakhs. Then the next entry will be final payment made to preference shareholders, final payment made to equity shareholders. So for preference shareholders, you made payment in the form of preference shares. So the entry will be preference share holders account debit. How much are you making payment to preference shareholders? You are making payment of 24 lakhs 20,000 to preference, and you are giving them what? You are giving them preference shares in XY. How much are you giving them? 24 lakhs 20,000 being final payment made to preference shareholders. Now for equity shareholders, what is the final payment you've made? Equity shares. So equity share holders account debit to equity shares in XY Limited. So how much payment have you made to equity shareholders? You've made a payment of 48 lakhs. So this is final payment made to equity shareholders. So when I showed you in the image, next image, I've clubbed these two entries. So I've just done a combined journal entry. I've written preference shareholders account debit 24 lakh 20, equity shareholders account debit 48 lakhs, two preference shares in XY 24 lakh 20, two equity shares in XY 48 lakhs. I've just clubbed the combined entry due to the shortage of space. I just wanted the entire image to appear in one single page, so I had to combine the journal entry. So these are the closing entries in the books of X. So these are the closing entries. If you want, you can take a screenshot. This was the first entry, realization account debit to all assets account, all the liabilities except equity share capital account debit to realization account. Then this is PC due. This is PC received in the form of equity shares and preference shares. Now this is preference share capital due at premium. This is loss on realization. How did you get this loss? Look here, debit 99 lakhs. This one is debited, 99 lakhs is debited. Then debit 24 lakhs 20. Sorry, not this. 2 lakhs 20. Debit 2 lakh 20. So these are the two things you have debited over here. Which all the things you have credited? You have credited 27 lakhs. This is 27 lakhs. And you have credited to realization account 72 lakhs 20. This one 72 lakhs 20 you have credited. This is 72 lakhs 20. So when you total these two, credit side 99 lakh 20. Debit side 1 crore 1 lakh 20. So there is a loss of 2 lakhs which you transfer to equity shareholders account. And then after calculating the loss, this is equity share capital transferring to holders account, and then final payment made to equity shareholders and preference shareholders. So these are the entries which you will pass in the books, closing entries in the books of X. Now similarly, we will do closing entries in the books of Y. So the first entry is realization account debit to all the assets account individually. So the first asset is to land and buildings account. Amount for Y is 15 lakhs 50,000. Then to plant and machinery account. Amount is 17 lakhs. Remember to keep your problem. Every time whenever you look at the solution or listen to the theory part, the question should be there in front of you. To furniture and fixtures. Amount is 3,50,000. Then to investments account. Investment amount is 5 lakhs. Then to stock account. Amount is 9,50,000. Then debtors account. Amount is 10,30,000. Then to bank account. Amount is 5,20,000. If you total all these things, realization account debit 66 lakhs. So B, all assets transferred. The second entry is amalgamation in the nature of merger. We transfer all the liabilities except capital, share capital to realization account on the credit side. So the entry will be export profit reserve account debit. Amount is 2 lakhs. Then investment allowance reserve account debit. Amount is 1 lakh. Then 13% debentures account debit, amount is 3,50,000. Then trade creditors account debit, amount is 3,50,000. Then other current liabilities account debit, amount is 1,50,000. To realization account, amount is 11,50,000. You take the total of all these, you get 11,50,000. This is entry for transferring all the liabilities. The next entry is for purchase consideration due. XY Limited account debit. How much is the purchase consideration of Y Limited? It is 53,70,000. 2. It is giving for realizing the assets and liabilities. So to realization account 53,70,000. This is the entry for PC due. Once you pass an entry for PC due, the next entry will be PC received in the form of equity shares and preference shares. So the entry will be equity shares in XY Limited account debit. How many equity shares? 35 lakhs. Preference shares in XY Limited account debit. How many preference shares? 18,70,000. 2. Who is giving XY Limited account? Amount is 53,70,000. This is PC received in the form of equity shares and preference shares. The next entry after you receive, there is no realization expense, we close preference share capital. Preference share capital account debit. What is the balance given in the balance sheet? 17 lakhs. And it is given at premium. Premium amount will be transferred to realization account. Realization account, how much is the premium? 10%, that is 1,70,000. To preference share holders account, amount is 18,70,000. Amount is 18,70,000. So once you do all these things, you will find out whether there is a profit or loss on realization. There is a loss in this problem, so the entry will be equity share holders account debit. The loss is 2 lakhs. I think it is 2 lakhs. 5 lakhs, sorry, 2 lakhs was for the other company. So the loss is 5 lakhs. To equity shareholders account debit to realization account, losses 5 lakhs. Loss on realization transfer to equity share holders account. Once you transfer the loss, the next entry is transferring equity share capital. So entry will be equity share capital account debit to equity share holders account. How much is the equity share capital of Y? Y equity share capital is 30 lakhs. So 30 lakhs. So this is transferring equity share capital to equity share holders account. So if you look at the balance sheet, you've closed everything. See, you transferred land and buildings, plant and machinery, furniture, investment, stock, debtors, cash at bank. You transferred other current liabilities, then trade creditors, debentures, P&L account, investment allowance reserve, statutory reserve, general reserve, everything you've transferred. You also closed preference share capital, now you closed equity share capital. So every item in the old balance sheet should be closed and transferred to their respective accounts and then close the old company's balance sheet. So once you transfer equity share capital, so this is merger, you are transferring only equity share capital to equity shareholders account. We make the final payment. The final payment is similar as purchase. There is no difference. So equity share, now preference shareholders will get preference shares in X1. So how much they get? They get 18,70,000, and equity shareholders will get equity shares in XY. How many equity shares they are getting? They are getting 35 lakhs. So this is final payment made to equity shareholders and preference shareholders. So if you look at the image, all the journal entries are in one place. So this is the first entry for transferring all assets, second entry for transferring all liabilities except capital, then the third entry for PC due, fourth entry for PC received, then closing preference share capital, then closing realization account and finding out profit or loss. See, how did you find out profit or loss? Debit is 66 lakhs. This is 66 lakhs, 66 lakhs. And there is a premium. The premium amount is 1 lakh 70. 1 lakh 70 debit. And credit, what all you have? Credit you have over here, this one. So this is credit 19 lakhs. And then credit you have this one, 53 lakh 70. So you total, your debit is more, your credit is less, there is a loss of 5 lakhs in the books of Y. So once you do all these once you pass the closing entries in the books of X and in the books of Y, next you pass the opening entries in the books of XY. So opening entries in the books of XY. Now in opening entries, the first entry is similar. Liquidators of X Limited debit. How much will the liquidators of X Limited get? Liquidators of X Limited will get, I wrote the third entry. The first entry will be business purchase account debit to liquidators of X. How much will the liquidators of X get? Liquidators of X will get 72 lakhs 20,000 to liquidators of Y. Liquidators of Y will get 53 lakhs 70,000. So both total put together, they will get 1 crore 25 lakhs 90,000. They will get what? 25.90. So this is being business purchased. Now the second entry is very, very important. It changes with respect to merger and purchase. In case of merger, there is no question of goodwill. Both will be transferred to capital reserve stating loss on merger or profit on merger as the case may be. So second entry I will show in the separate slide only, because we will be adding all the assets and we will be adding all the liabilities, and then we will find out whether there is a balancing figure or not. So for adding all the assets and liabilities, the first entry will be land and buildings account debit. Now land and buildings account debit, X company, how much is the land value? X company has a land value of 25 lakhs and Y company has a land value of 15 lakhs 50,000. So the total land and building is 40 lakhs 50,000. Then next, plant and machinery account debit. X plant and machinery is 32 lakhs 50 and Y plant and machinery is 17 lakhs. Total you have 49 lakhs 50,000. Then furniture and fittings, debit. X has furniture of 5 lakh 75,000 and Y is 3 lakh 50,000. Total 9 lakh 25,000. Then investments. X investment is 7 lakhs and Y's investment is 5 lakhs. Total investment is 12 lakhs. Then stock account debit. X has a stock of 12 lakh 50, Y has a stock of 9 lakh 50. So total stock is 22 lakhs. 9, 10, 22. Okay. Then next, debtors. Debtors account debit 9. X has a debtors of 9 lakhs plus 10, 30. Total comes up to 19 lakhs 30,000. Total comes up to 19 lakhs 30,000. Then bank. Bank account debit. X has a bank balance of 7 lakh 25,000 plus 5 lakh 20,000. Total 7 lakh 25 plus 5 lakh 20, 12 lakhs 45,000. So these are the debit balances. So you add both companies' assets. You add all these and show it separately, debit. Then you leave one line because we don't know whether it is capital reserve on the debit or capital reserve on the credit. Since there is no space, I will show all the credit in the next slide and show both combined in the third slide. So all the debit entries have been written after adding both, which I have explained in the previous slide. So we will leave one line because we don't know whether you get the balancing figure in the debit or credit. So we will take all the liabilities. So we start with export profit reserve. Export profit reserve 3 of X, 2 of Y, total 5 lakhs. Then 2 investment allowance reserve. Only one company has investment allowance reserve. So 2, 1 lakh. Then 2 general reserve. This is the difference between merger and purchase. 2 general reserve. X company has 5 lakhs and Y company has 2 lakh 50. So total 7 lakh 50,000. Then 2 profit and loss account. X company has a profit and loss account of 7.5 plus Y has 5, total 12 lakhs 50,000. Then 13% debentures. X company has a debentures of 5 lakhs plus Y has 3.5, total 8 lakhs 50,000. Then 2 trade creditors. X company has a trade creditors of 4.5 and Y has a trade creditors of 3.5. So total 8 lakhs. Then 2 other current liabilities. X company has other current liabilities of 2 and Y has 1.5, total 3 lakhs 50,000. And then 2, finally you will write business purchase account. Business purchase account. 1 crore 25 lakhs 90,000. So you record all the assets and all the liabilities, and you find out whether there is a profit on merger or loss on merger. So if you get a profit on merger, you get the balancing figure here. If you get a loss on merger, you get a balancing figure in the debit column. So when you total all these, you get the total of 1 crore 65 lakhs when you total this. And when you total this, you get a total of 171.9. So when you see, the credit is more and the debit is less. How much it is less? It is less by 6.9. 6 lakhs 90,000. So if you subtract 171.9 minus 165, you get 6.9. So this is loss on merger. So loss on merger account debit 6 lakhs 90,000. Now after you do this, the next entry is, you cannot show loss on merger in balance sheet. So what we do, we take the amount from some reserve and P&L account. So the first preference will be given to general reserve. How much money you have in your general reserve? You have 7,50,000. And what is the loss on merger? Loss on merger is 6,90,000. So we need to write off this loss. Write off this loss from general reserve, because the amount which is there in general reserve is sufficient. If it is not sufficient, you can also utilize P&L account. But here in this problem, it is sufficient. So it is more than sufficient. You want only 6.9, but you have 7.5. So remaining, you keep the amount in the general reserve, which we show it in the balance sheet. So how much you will transfer? You will transfer only 6 lakhs 90. So now loss on merger is debit. Now to cancel this, to write off this, you will have to credit. So where you are taking the amount? You are taking the amount from the general reserve. Normally general reserve will have a credit balance. Now when you are taking out the amount from that, the entry will be reversed. So the general reserve account will be debited. So the next entry will be general reserve account debit to, you are trying to write off loss on merger. Loss on merger. How much? 6,90,000. So now how much is left in the general reserve? You had in balance sheet. How will you show it in balance sheet? In balance sheet, when you are showing general reserve, you had a balance of general reserve. You had an opening balance of 7,50,000. But you utilized to write off loss. Write off loss from merger. How much? 6,90,000. So 7.5 minus 6.9. General reserve, how much you have? Okay. So general reserve, so you have 60,000 remaining in your general reserve. And in your profit and loss account, you have 12.5. All those things are same. All those things don't change. Now all these things will appear in balance sheet. Which are the things which appears in balance sheet? You will show land and buildings so much price. Take a screenshot of this. When I do the balance sheet, you should know where did you get this amount from. Plant and machinery 49,50,000. Furniture and fixture 9,25,000. Investments 12 lakhs. Stock 22 lakhs. Debtors 19,30,000 and bank balance 12,45,000. Now this will not be there because this entry is debited and simultaneously you have credited over here. So this will not appear in balance sheet. Now coming to the liability side. Liability side, you will show this 5 lakhs under export profit reserve, 1 lakh in investment allowance reserve. General reserve, you will not show 7,50,000. You will show only 60,000 because out of 7,50,000 you have taken out 6,90,000. Remaining all you will show the in balance sheet. You will show 12,50,000, 8,50,000, 8 lakh, 3,50,000. You will not show this in balance sheet, the business purchase, because first entry debited, second entry credited, the account is closed. It will not appear in balance sheet. So these the one which have rounded off and the one which have ticked will appear in balance sheet, except this will not appear in balance sheet. Now which all have ticked, say all these will appear in the assets and all these will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet. And in the third entry, when we make the final payment in the form of equity share capital, that also will appear in the balance sheet on the liabilities side, which is similar whether it is merger or purchase. So the first entry was business purchase account debit to liquidators of X and liquidators of Y. The second entry is all the assets account debit to all the liabilities, and we find out loss on merger. I will not repeat the statement. If you have any doubts, you can replay the video again. So I will move on to the next journal entry, the third journal entry, fourth journal entry, because this was the second journal entry. This is the third journal entry where we are setting off the loss on merger from general reserve. Now the fourth journal entry will be for making the payment, final payment. So now final payment you pay to liquidators of A Limited. How much are you paying to liquidators of, sorry, not A, it is X. How much are you paying to liquidators of X Limited debit? You are paying 72,20,000. Then liquidators of Y Limited debit. How much are you paying to Y? 53,70,000. To equity share capital. How much are you paying equity share capital? Both X and Y combined together. You are paying 83 lakhs to equity shareholders. To preference shareholders, what we did was we divided the preference shareholders into preference share capital and showed the securities premium amount separately. Now the total preference share capital given to both the companies put together was 42,90,000. Total was 42,90,000. But what we did, we divided it into preference share capital and securities premium. You look at the discharge of PC, you will understand how did you get preference share capital and securities premium. Now preference share capital for X. Preference share capital for X was preference share capital for X was 22 lakhs and premium was 2.2, and then preference share cap, this was paid for X, and for Y company preference share capital was 17 lakhs and premium amount was 1.7 lakhs. So 39 lakhs, then 33.9 lakhs. So this is preference share capital, this is securities premium showed separately. The total will remain same. It will come up to 42,90,000, but you have to show it separately. Show the premium amount separately and transfer it to securities premium, which is a type of reserve. So equity share capital 83 lakhs, then preference share capital, here we've done 39 lakhs to securities premium. So securities premium was how much? 3.9 lakhs. So this was securities premium. So when you total these three and when you total these two, it will come up to the first business purchase. So that is the final payment made to equity shareholders. Then you make an entry for discharging debenture holders, where you are giving 13% debentures in exchange for debentures only. You are giving them debentures only. So to 13% debentures. account. So same, I don't remember the amount. Debentures total amount is coming up to 8 lakh 50. So you are giving them same value of debentures. So you pass the entry for debentures. So these are the opening entries in the books of the new company, that is transferee company XY Limited. So looking at these opening entries only, you need to do the balance sheet. Now you will take these things in the liabilities side, the equity share capital, preference share capital, securities premium, and the one which I showed you in the previous slide, you will take all the liabilities, the credit balances one and the debit balances one on the asset side, and prepare balance sheet as per 2019 format of Companies Act. I'll just show you a brief balance sheet. You kindly, whenever you're doing the balance sheet as per company's format, you write the format exactly, by heart the format and write the format without writing the amount. Show it in the form of working notes and show all the calculations in the working notes and take the amount directly in the balance sheet. So when you're doing the balance sheet, as I told you, you need to write off the balance sheet and show all these working notes outside the balance sheet. So say note number 1, you will show note number 1 and show a share capital. Share capital, which all you will show? I will not show share capital because I want to show reserves and surplus. So share capital, now look here, I have taken the screenshots of the previous slide so that it is there next to you only. So you will take this equity share capital of 83 lakhs and this preference share capital of 83 lakhs and you will show it in note 1. So you will write note 1, calculation of share capital. So you will take the total of both 83 lakhs and 39 lakhs. You will take the securities premium under reserves and surplus in note number 2. So now the next one will be note 2. Note 2, you will calculate reserves and surplus. See, if your opening entries are right, you need not look at the question only. Just by looking at the opening entries, you can prepare balance sheet. So which are the opening entries you will take? You will take export profit reserve, investment allowance reserve, you will take general reserve, then you will take profit and loss account, and then you will take this securities premium over here. You will take all these reserves under reserves and surplus. So you will take export profit reserve. How much you've taken? Export profit reserve is 5 lakhs. Then you will take investment allowance reserve. Investment allowance reserve is 1 lakh. Then you will take general reserve. General reserve, now remember, total you had 7,50,000. 7,50,000, but from 7,50,000, so total you had 7,50,000 as per your second entry, 7,50,000. As per your third entry, you've taken the amount from the general reserve 6,90,000. So 7,50,000 minus 6,90,000, you will show only 60,000 general reserve. Then profit and loss account. Profit and loss account, how much you have? Profit and loss account, you have 12,50,000. 12,50,000. Then you will take securities premium. Securities premium from the fourth entry. How much you have securities premium? You have a securities premium of 3.9 lakhs. So after taking all these things, you will total. So the total comes up to 23 lakhs. So this is the total of your general reserve. So reserves and surplus comes up to 23 lakhs. So note 1 has both equity share capital and preference share capital. 83 lakhs, 83 plus 39 lakhs. So 83 plus 39, 122. So your reserves and surplus is 23 lakhs. And then you take this 13% debentures under long-term borrowings, trade creditors under trade payables, other current liabilities under other current liabilities, and you take all the contents of the balance sheet on the liability side. So liabilities side of the balance sheet is over. So once you take all the liabilities side of the balance sheet, your total liabilities will come up to, say, your share capital of 122 plus your reserves and surplus of 23 plus your 13% debentures of 8.5 plus your trade creditors of 8 plus your other current liabilities of 3.5. So when you total all these things, you will get a total of 165. So 122 plus 23 plus 85 plus 8 plus 3.5. So this is your liabilities. Now coming to the asset side, you will take all these assets, whichever assets are written in the debit column in the second entry. So see, the total is 165. The total assets is 165. So total assets land and buildings, plant and machinery, furniture and fixtures take under tangible assets. Investments take under investments. Stock take under inventories. Debtors take under trade receivables. Bank take under cash and cash equivalents. Your balance sheet on the asset side will come up to 165 lakhs. So that is how you prepare balance sheet. You show all these working notes in separate working note and transfer the amount in the balance sheet as per 2019 format of Companies Act. So don't forget to prepare balance sheet as per 2019 format. I thank you very much for listening to this video. I wish you all the best.